everyone, welcome to our special episode of the Misplaced series, in which we discuss issues of the food systems and we hear from different entrepreneurs and advocates about what we can do to solve these issues. So, as mentioned, today we have a very special episode with our youngest entrepreneurs from Branksome Hall Asia. They're going to share with us their innovative technology solution on food sustainability. So don't forget, do sign up for the series via the link in the description so you can receive reminders about our upcoming episodes and we can share the recordings of the past ones. So as mentioned, today we are joined by Seonwoo Lee and Jisu, and they are students of Branksome Hall Asia, which is in Jeju, South Korea. Hi, Seonwoo and Jisu.
Hi.
Thank you both of you for joining us today. So, in looking to design a project to tackle issues such as food security and environmental pollution, these two junior students have designed a project called the Greenhouse in the Street. And it's been awarded funding by the International Baccalaureate, and they're going to tell us some more about it today. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please post them, and our lovely young entrepreneurs will address them after the presentation. So we're really excited to hear more about this project today, and I'm going to pass you over to Seonwoo and Jisu to tell us more now.
So this is Seonwoo Lee and Jisu Hong, and we're working on a project called Greenhouse in the Street. Our project is building, programming, and providing our customized micro greenhouse to the local community. The challenge our project would address is achieving food security and sustainable agriculture by allowing consumers to grow food in their own houses. Our aim is for the micro greenhouse to be accessible to local communities for broad uses. The micro greenhouse is not only to grow food, but can also be used as an educational kit for schools while learning about food security, sustainability, designing, and engineering. Students can assemble their own kit of micro greenhouse and experience growing food in a sustainable way. By satisfying these functions, our micro greenhouse would help our community to develop a sustainable city and make members be aware about sustainability. So to start with, food security is a broad term which is defined in different ways by a number of organizations around the world. The fundamental concept of food security is that it refers to the ability of individuals to obtain sufficient food on a day-to-day basis. So internationally, food security can be referred to as the ability of people to secure adequate food. The problem of lack of food security, especially if evident after the outbreak of coronavirus, is an issue of misplacement along the food system. This creates a significant consequence of under-provision of food to those not only in low socioeconomic statuses, but to every single person, even the rich in the community. Moreover, agriculture is a leading source of pollution in many countries. Pesticides, fertilizers, and other toxic farm chemicals can poison freshwater, marine ecosystems, air, and soil. They also can remain in the environment for generations, causing bioaccumulation, biomagnification of toxins which create a domino effect. The environmental pollution that such commercial agriculture causes is also an example of misplacement along the food system. The misplacement of resources used, the misplacement of methods taken, all contribute to significant environmental pollution, ranging from the emission of greenhouse gases amplifying the greenhouse effect to eutrophication and toxic algae blooms caused by fertilizers and manure.
So, why did we start this project? We come from remote backgrounds, which both are related to the problem we aim to alleviate. I come from a city ranked as one of the world's largest metropolitan city, in which I perceive the necessity of sustainable development. And Seonwoo comes from a countryside focused on agriculture, where she experienced growing plants in actual greenhouses, and also heard her family members complain how bothersome it is to have to water plants regularly. So bearing the two distinctive experiences in mind, we met in an international school on Jeju Island with both the features of a city and a rural area, which reminded us of our lives and problems back in our hometowns. While collaborating in design class, We were inspired by this idea of making an optimal micro greenhouse that could help solve both of our dilemmas in our neighborhoods. So, thus, we started this project. So, while living in our hometowns, we saw many people, especially in low socioeconomic statuses, struggle at accessing fresh vegetables. According to a study, crop prices have risen between 10 to 25% in 2012, and some low income earners are already spending 50 to 70% of their income on buying food. Therefore, we automatically decided that the challenge our project will address would be achieving food security and alleviating global hunger by allowing users to grow food in their own houses. So, our prior experiences in volunteering have built us as individuals who could take action to make a change in our community. For example, we were also in an activity that creates prosthetic hands using 3D printers and making braille books for the visually impaired. After making contributions to activities that extend the utility of individuals and the disadvantaged, we discovered that our technical skills could be used for mitigating significant problems in our community and furthermore lead us to initiate this project. The projects that we led and were involved in have been highly encouraging us to think about different problems both globally and within our community, which guided us to also think about the problem of food security and environmental pollution. So, our initial goal for this project was to increase the supply for foods by producing them not only from suburban farmers, but also from household farmers. So this grants access for more individuals to access foods and thus will contribute to mitigating global hunger. Also, the food will have sufficient and safe nutrition since there will be no use of pesticides, which can be harmful to the human body. So the people using our greenhouse will have much more reliability in their food compared to the food from the grocery store. Thus, our micro-greenhouse project would aid our community's development as a sustainable city and boost food security by fulfilling these functions. Furthermore, the teaching kits we would supply could be utilized in schools to teach students about food security, sustainability, design, and global hunger.
Yeah, so this project is not only a project associated with us two students, but it involves the whole community. Initially, we planned all of our processes in regards to the need of our community. We interviewed and got help from local farmers and environmental activists to gather information about the essentials in farming and for the educational information that would be included in the kits we provide to our community. We met specialists both in and out of our school for technical support. We also contacted the local children's center and orphanages to collaborate with them and educate the children by actually visiting them. We are currently working with Cheongsu Children's Center and Kosan Children's Center. As for the UN Global Goals, our project deals with an emerging global issue of food security, sustainability, as well as quality education. Our greenhouse kit would grant an excellent opportunity for students to develop as future global citizens by having an experience on dealing with sustainability.
So, there are largely three phases of our project. The first phase is to make the most optimal micro greenhouse using our designing and programming skills. The second phase of our project is to provide the optimal micro greenhouse that we built to people and organizations in the local community, especially to those who struggle to access fresh vegetables due to any reasons. The last phase of our micro greenhouse project is to make our greenhouse in the form of an educational kit and sell and donate it internationally so that students from all around the world could experience building a small greenhouse, programming the greenhouse using Arduino, and growing food in a sustainable way. So, what have we achieved so far? We are currently our project received a $3,000 grant from the IB Innovators Program last year. With the $3,000 grant and the existing budget in our project, we have ordered the necessary materials to assemble the greenhouse. So we have currently created 30 samples of greenhouse kits. So we're currently right now designing the greenhouse prototype container, and one of the challenges we faced was to take extra effort to the joints for the users to easily assemble the container, since our target users would be mostly children. Students in design and our design teacher worked very hard on designing the prototype. We also contacted the local children's center and orphanages to collaborate with them and educate the children. So we're currently working, as mentioned forward, we are currently working with Cheongsu and Gosan Children's Center.
So there were various challenges that we faced. The main challenge that we faced was that this project required a variety of skill sets. We needed some knowledge in the field of agriculture, further engineering and programming skills, as well as self-management and communication skills. To address this challenge, we recruited members who are skilled in each of these aspects and provided them specific guidelines and steps to follow so that we can optimize our design and carry out this project. Moreover, we also got a lot of help and support from teachers and mentors in and out of school.
So what have we learned through this project? So we have learned about the importance of resolving food security and its impact to the world. Also, through researching about the design and ways to effectively educate the children, we attained technical skills of engineering, designing, and coding. It was also crucial to gain time management skills and plan the process throughout the year. Although because of COVID, some of our plans were canceled, but we mostly achieved the goals that we set at the beginning of the year. So we would like to give some inspirations to our fellow students. Since a project like ours is highly approachable, with good enough ideas, we think that other students could also conduct a similar project. In our case, we got inspiration from our own school curriculum, and that opportunity made us think about how to resolve this particular global issue. For other students, that source of inspiration could be anything. It could be a personal experience, something that you read online, your own community's challenges, anything. We think that the act of contemplating about a common problem and seeking a solution itself is the important part of a project like ours. And if you can make other people to think about their problem with you, it will be even better. We think that the students should constantly seek a problem that you can help resolve, even if it's a small problem. And try to take initiative with your friends and broaden your perspective about your position in this world.
So we, as students who went through trials and tribulations, complained about the lack of resources and skills we have, understand how hard it is to initiate and lead through a project. However, through this project, we also realized how important it is for us students to challenge ourselves, to deal with such a significant global issue. So, as Joel Barker, an author and lecturer, said, vision without an action is a dream. Action without vision is simply passing time. Action with vision is making a positive difference. So, if you want the world to change, you have to be the change maker. Make a difference, take action, and change the world. The future depends on what you do today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to you two. I think we can all agree that was a fantastic presentation and what a really interesting project. So much information for us to take from that. And I think lots of smaller initiatives that I'm hoping are getting people's ideas going as to what we can start doing ourselves. I really love the fact that you both come from slightly different backgrounds, one from living in a metropolitan area, one from living in a rural area. And it's so interesting to see how you've merged those two experiences to create a product and to create a solution that is relevant across those different environments. It's really, really great to see. And you've progressed so fast from your prototype to your project delivery, leading through into education. It's really fantastic. And from us at Livin Farms working in a similar area, it's great to see some synergies in what you guys are doing. We want to give our audience an opportunity to ask some questions now, and we're going to delve a little bit more into into the background of your project. Before we go over to the viewers, I want to ask a little bit more on a broader issue. As you know, Misplaced, our series centers around food systems and wider sustainability issues. So we want to kind of link up to that broader topic first before we go down a little bit more into the details, if that's okay with you. So you mentioned at the start of your presentation of some of the key issues that you're looking to tackle around food systems with this project in particular. Just wondering if when you were looking at sort of food systems and issues with the food systems, what do you think the most common misconception is that people have about our food systems today?
So I think there are several misconceptions about the food system. One is that food security is a problem only for the poor. Actually, food security is a problem for everybody. Urban food security is not a question of availability, but of access. So I think that's the first misconception. And another misconception could be that environmental health and nutritional health are at odds of each other. There are several foods such as grains, starches, beans, nuts, and seeds that can improve both environmental and nutritional health. And I think the last misconception could be that eating healthily costs more, because actually in most developed countries, reducing food consumption due to guidelines on calorie intake would allow healthy eating with current spending levels. So it wouldn't cost that much, even though you're trying to have a healthy diet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does seem as though a lot of these misconceptions, getting to the base of them is education and understanding, which I know is a key area of your project, which you've focused on. How do you feel that the aspects of your project help to address some of these misconceptions?
So like we realize that how important it is for us students to challenge ourselves to deal with such a significant global issue. So we think that initiatives and solutions can vary from simply participating in campaigns to raise awareness about such issues, uh, and also initiating projects like us to actually deal with the global issue.
Yeah, and I love the way you come up with some inspirations for students as well. It's really nice for you to take your experience as a student now and try to, you know, encourage and use what you've built in your project so other students and schools can take that as inspiration for their own activities as well. That's fantastic. I'm going to take the opportunity to take a question from one of our viewers. Kushbo would like to ask, can you elaborate on how engineering plays a role in your kits?
So engineering plays an important role in our kit. It plays an important role for us who are making the kit because we're actually designing and engineering all the circuits and how the watering pump system works and the LED system works, but also because we're giving the kits not assembled, but in a kit that students can take and try to assemble themselves using the guide. We believe that this would help them, help the students have some interest in the STEM field and be inspired to try new projects which is related to this.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit more about some of the programming and the design tools that you use specifically for this project?
So specifically, we used the Arduino, which is like a coding program, and like we learned that in school, and we used that knowledge to assemble this kit. And also we used the wood laser cutters to cut the woods, and yeah, those kind of.
Yeah, and not only do we use like laser cutters, 3D printers, or things like that, but we also use cardboard and some accessible items that we can easily find near our schools or houses or anywhere. So I think it's really a matter of fact that it's so accessible that we have the opportunity to do it even in this COVID situation where we sometimes cannot go to school.
Absolutely. And did you consider thinking about sustainability of your materials and your resources when you were designing your project?
Sure. So we specifically chose ABS plastic, which could be reused um, to make our water pumps. And we also use wood instead of plastic or other materials because we thought it's really important that we make this sustainable because our global issue that we're tackling is sustainability.
Absolutely. And I know in your presentation, you mentioned a number of challenges that you have faced, and just thinking about how we can give advice to people who want to maybe take on a similar project themselves. What do you think really was the biggest challenge you faced in delivering this project, and what did you do to overcome that?
So I think the biggest challenge was like we had to conduct this project during a COVID situation, and like we were like there were some times that we were supposed to meet, and then we had to do it online, and only some students could come to school and assemble the kits, and those kind of challenges were what we have faced. But although like we think we although there can be many challenges along the way of conducting a project, but we think that um, it is important to actually overcome and like initiate this project.
Yeah, at least we can try.
Yeah.
And if there's some problems, we can go and fix our plans.
Yeah, we had to fix our plans a lot along the way as well. So
Yeah, it's certainly, I think for everybody, I'm sure, not even just inside your product, it's been a very challenging way to run projects and to work, but actually also a learning scope as well, isn't it, of how to do these things remotely or with less resource. So you're not alone in that learning and the disruption. We also have another question from Anahita. Asking, can you tell us a bit more about how your school supported you in your work and research?
So we basically got a lot of support from our school teachers, especially teachers in design, technology, and we also got some support from student teachers in science. And since our school has a mandatory club activity, we could recruit members easily to help support our project to like assemble kits and do some write up. And our resources at school, such as the laser printer, as we mentioned before, the 3D printer, and things like that, was a lot of it was necessary.
Yeah, they gave us a lot of advice on what we had to order or how we should design this prototype, and like along the way we had so many problems.
True.
But they all gave us help, and we got
Yeah, and I think it's especially important to reach out to teachers because they are there to support us. So when we asked them questions, we were kind of afraid at first that they won't answer our questions, or like, let's say this is not related to our schoolwork, but actually they supported us in a lot of a lot of ways. And I think that was an important part of our project. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great to hear how forward-thinking your teachers are and how much support and guidance they've given you. And I think definitely we really hope that more schools and students can have these really great STEM learning and sustainability-focused opportunities. I can see a question coming in that links also with something I wanted to ask you, so I'm going to link the two together. In terms of sort of looking at the bigger food sustainability issues, what do you think is the biggest challenge that we face, and then how do you think your project can be scaled up, say, to address a particular family's sustainability issues or to support a family?
So I think the biggest challenge we face right now with regards to sustainability within the food system is we need shorter supply chains, and we need to shift to more local and regional food supply network to increase food security, as well as improve to mitigate the impact that commercial agriculture has on our environment. So I think it's really important that our greenhouse kits could provide a way for household farmers to produce food in a sustainable way so that it could have impact in making the supply chains of food shorter and shifting to more accessible food supply networks. So I think our project is creating a basically a link between agriculture sustainability and health also, because we're not using pesticides or fertilizers.
Yeah, and I think you're taking it down the two routes, haven't you, of the education side and the smaller scale personal usage. So I guess it will be really interesting to see how you then continue into your future phases of scaling that up into more in-depth education or to scaling up into bigger scale personal use. Is that something you've already got plans in place?
So, so we don't have like a firm plan about what we would extend our project to be, but for now we're thinking about providing this to schools so that students can take this and learn about sustainability, whereas also making this prototype accessible to other people around our community and also internationally, so that they can have an experience of learning what it is to grow a food in a sustainable way in their home.
Yeah, I think that's excellent, and definitely we've already spoken a little bit before, but I think education is a real great starting point for this kind of project. I'm very conscious of the time, so I'm going to start to wrap it up, but I just want to delve a little bit more onto the education side, as we are so lucky to have 2 students with us today. I'm just wondering how you feel undertaking this project has helped or enhanced your studies, particularly around your STEM learning and your understanding of sustainability.
So we basically had to learn how to code using the Arduino, and we learned a lot of ways to like design the prototype container, and that was like the most challenging one, the stepstone. And there are a lot of like aspects of design and coding that we learned a lot from.
Yeah, also in our classes, especially in science, in my case I take environmental science and studies, so I learned a lot about global hunger, food security, and all about these environmental issues that occur all around the world. So I think that was an important thing that that encouraged us to start this project and lead it.
That's great, and I think it's so great for you to have a real active chance to use these kinds of skills, such as your design and your coding, into a project that has the sustainability focus. It's fantastic to see all of those skills and areas being linked together. I'm going to start wrapping it up now, very conscious of the time. I can see we may maybe have 1 or 2 questions that we didn't quite answer. We can always follow up with those afterwards. So I just want to take an opportunity to say thank you once again, Seonwoo and Jisu. That was such a fantastic episode. Also a big thank you to Aidan and Terry from Branksome Hall Asia. I know they've been very supportive and helped us also in collaborating and setting up this episode. So thank you very much to everyone over at Branksome Hall Asia today. So we really hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more, please sign up to the whole Misplaced series, and then you'll receive some reminders of our upcoming episodes and some recordings of the past ones. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So just to let you know what's coming up in our next episode, we're going to continue on the theme of education. On 17th of June, we'll be speaking to Noemi, which she's from Canada-based Friends of the Insectarium. They are an NGO that brings together insect enthusiasts from all over the globe. And I'm sure if you know anything about Livin Farms, you'll know that we love insects and we love talking about insects in our food system. So this is a subject that's really close to us and our hearts and business. So just linking back to the fantastic project we've seen today, if you want to learn more about sustainability initiatives and projects like this one, or maybe you're thinking, oh, I'd love to start this kind of project, but don't really know where to start, please do contact us via the link in the description and see how Livin Farms can support you, whether it's something you're looking to do individually, in your community, or maybe something at your school or workplace. Drop us a message and we'll see if there's anything we can help you with. So finally, one more big thank you again to both our speakers and our viewers today. We look forward to seeing you at the next episode on the 17th. Bye-bye.
Bye.